of the minutes from the previous meeting. Do we have any motion to approve the minutes, or do we need to discuss them? So we can move on. We did table that to the next meeting, right? Thank you for clarification. We have some additions to the agenda today. Want me to mention it, or is it just the one? Well, I'm happy to welcome back one of our former commission members, Robin Kierton and Tom Foe from C4A. They will be making a presentation this afternoon as well. It's not listed on our printed agenda. Do we have any public input today? Either by email, or doesn't look like it in person, I don't think. Okay. No by email. Okay, good. Then we can get to the presentations, which is why you're all eager to be here. The first one is CUDO, Justin Klett and Katie Baquette. Welcome. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Did I say your names correctly? Justin Klett and Katie Baquette. Thank you. Oh.
Check. That working? Okay. All right. Thank you. And thank you for having us here. My name is Justin Klett. I'm the president of CUDO, and I'm here to show how we utilized the funds from the Urbana Arts Grant to bring the 2022 CUDO Pro Show to life. But first, I just want to touch on who we are as a reminder. We are CUDO, the Champaign-Urbana Design Organization. We were founded in early 2009 by a group of local designers who were eager to meet others who shared their passion for design. While CUDO started as a professional organization for graphic designers, it has since evolved to be a far more inclusive organization for everyone who loves design, whether you're a professional, a student, or an avid fan, and we like to use the phrase design geek. One of our cornerstone events, the CUDO Pro Show, was started in order to provide a venue for local designers to showcase the work they produced in a professional capacity for business and community outreach. We also wanted to highlight the artistic nature of graphic design that gets lost. Assets designed for commercial consumption are almost ephemeral in nature. They're meant to be used and discarded by companies and community organizations. Displaying these commercial assets in a gallery setting helps to increase the audience for these pieces, and it helps our community recognize what designers and commercial artists are truly capable of, and hopefully instills a sense of pride in that recognition. In addition to that, this event also serves as a networking opportunity for emerging designers, students, and local experienced designers who might not otherwise get the chance to meet face-to-face and make those connections. Our first show was in 2013 and was successful in bringing together and showcasing all types of work from extremely talented new and emerging designers, as well as established businesses and design firms. Subsequent shows through 2016 firmly established the CUDO Pro Show as an annual event in the local design community until we entered a hiatus in 2017. There were plans to revive the Pro Show in 2020, but we all know what happened there. After the pandemic, and with the help of the Urbana Arts and Culture Program, we were finally able to revive the Pro Show in 2022. The 2022 CUDO Pro Show brought in 21 local professional studios and individual designers who submitted a combined 39 pieces ranging between print media, motion design, board games, and textiles. One of the challenges we faced was in prodding and reminding local designers and design firms to submit work when the Pro Show had been off their radar for so long. People would think, oh, I should submit something to the Pro Show, but it wasn't, unfortunately, it wasn't at the top of their minds. In the past, it had been something that was maybe a bit more built into the plan of the year for local designers, but we were able to overcome this by sending out regular reminders and contacting designers and firms directly. Some of the highlights of the show included certain work collaborating with both major local and international brands. We ended up hosting over 100 attendees for both the opening and closing receptions, which went far beyond our expectations. We held 2 mounting workshops prior to the date of the show, which allowed 10 students and emerging designers access to materials and instruction on how to professionally mount design work for gallery exhibition. And we worked with 12 local sponsors, including the Urbana Arts and Culture Program, to revive this program and make this show happen. The mounting workshops we put on, we felt, were absolutely critical in order to lower the barrier of entry for new and emerging designers, as well as design students who may not have the chance to display their work in a gallery setting before. There is a degree of presentation you need for a professional gallery setting, and as it turns out, there's a learning curve to achieving that. We wanted to reduce that curve as much as possible by making the entry cost completely free, with only a printable PDF of your work needing to be submitted upon signing up. Mounting materials were provided by the Art Coop at no cost, and prints of the designer's artwork were provided by Dixon Graphics, also at no cost. Paul Young, a retired professor from the Parkland College Graphic Design Program, served as the instructor for both workshops and was an invaluable volunteer resource. Professional gallery mounting is not something that commercial assets would normally benefit from, but this helped elevate the design work, giving the skill and artistry of these up-and-coming designers a chance to shine through. And while I've mentioned a couple already, we received enthusiastic support from a number of local sponsors who were glad to see the Pro Show return after 6 years. Another challenge that we faced in this area was due to the hiatus of the Pro Show, it was difficult to revive some of Kudo's old professional contacts. With people moving jobs, connections stagnating, and the Kudo board membership being a completely different makeup than it was 6 years ago, making those connections, especially to some of the larger local professional entities, was a definite hurdle, which is why we were grateful to the sponsors who not only helped monetarily, but through donations of time and skills. And just to shout out a couple, the IMC was a wonderful venue to host the Pro Show itself, as well as one of the 2 mounting workshops. After working together, a number of Kudo board members became members of the IMC, and the material and networking opportunities were invaluable. Surface 51 was one of our first and most enthusiastic sponsors, also providing a venue for a mounting workshop. Without their involvement and passion in the early stages of searching for sponsorship, the Pro Show would not have been given the Pro Show would not have been the success that it was. And of course, a generous grant from the Urbana Arts and Culture Program is what made the 2022 Pro Show possible at all in the first place. By participating in the Pro Show, these sponsors helped uplift and strengthen the local design community. As mentioned, the Pro Show was held at the Independent Media Center in their gallery space. The IMC is one of the few spaces that can host a show of this type in Urbana, and they were fantastic to work with for gallery setup, the night of the opening reception, the smaller closing reception, and the teardown. I will just say a huge shout out goes to DJ BJ Clark over at the IMC, who was our contact. He was incredibly communicative and attentive to our needs for the event, and went above and beyond to make sure that the gallery show and all of the moving parts contained therein went smoothly. Another challenge we did face here in regards to the venue was finding a caterer for the opening reception, but ultimately we were happy with the solution we arrived at to provide refreshment to attendees. And this is a short video created and posted by Visit Champaign County to their professional TikTok and Instagram, and it should present a good overview of the event and artwork submitted. Our opening reception was held on the evening of Friday, November 4th, with live music and refreshments. As mentioned, we hosted over 100 attendees, and I think it would be safe to call the show a success. The show was on display in the IMC Gallery from the opening reception November 4th until November 18th. We had a much smaller closing reception on the 18th that allowed one more chance for the public to see the gallery, as well as providing an opportunity for artists to swing by and pick up their artwork before the teardown of the show the following morning. I'll just say this event was a massive undertaking, and we have learned so much about how to improve and streamline future pro shows. We've also created connections that will make so many of our future endeavors both easier and more enriched, thereby hopefully better enriching the community as we continue in our mission to cultivate a vibrant design culture in Champaign-Urbana and the surrounding area. So much.
Congratulations. Do we have any questions before you step away? Any members of the commission want to ask a question? Good. All right, thank you so much. Our next presentation is Love Sucks for Eva with Rachel Rizzuto and Danny Yergis.
Well, we'll just see that I have no notes. Hi. Hello. I'm Rachel Rizzuto, and I'm one of the two co-creators of Love Sucks. My co-creator, my creative partner, Danny Yorgis, is also my husband, incidentally. And he is babysitting our 1-year-old right now, so he's not going to be joining us tonight. Okay, so Love Sucks is a dance song scene spectacle that this year on April 22nd took place in the Lincoln Square Mall. This is a show that I originally created back in 2016 out of a breakup, honestly, and I thought it would be a cathartic experience to create a dance song scene spectacle. It wasn't, spoiler alert, but it did become a part of my artistic history, which is really exciting. So this is the 7th year that I've done Love Sucks, and each year it's totally new material, but the theme is always the same, which you can probably guess from the title, is how much love can suck. Typically this show takes place on or around Valentine's Day to make it extra special, but due to presence of previously mentioned child, a lot of things changed timeline-wise. So this year it took place in April. Hopefully, if I do this again next year, it'll be back for Valentine's Day. And all of the pictures that you're going to see in this slideshow are from the performance themselves. And I would like to just apologize. I converted this presentation from Keynote into PowerPoint, and it is not as aesthetically pleasing as I would like. So just go with me. Okay, so it took place at the Lincoln Square Mall on April 22nd, which was a Saturday, and we had approximately 75 people in attendance. And this iteration of Love Sucks had 12 cast members, including the two co-creators, myself and Danny. And one of the unique things about this show is that although there are many parts of, dance, there are scenes, there's live music and singing. Everyone who participates in the show has to do everything. So if you're a musician, you also have to dance at some point in the show and or sing. If you're a dancer like me and not a singer at all, you still have to participate in that way. So it's really feels more like a variety show. I'll talk more about this by the end of the slideshow, but the funds from the grant that I received, which was a Tier 1 grant, were mainly used to rent, as you can see here, an upright piano, which we wheeled around the Lincoln Square Mall for the performance, to pay a photographer and a videographer and a media designer, to purchase costumes, to have posters of the show printed, and to pay performer fees. Okay. Okay, so successes. As I said, we had those 12 cast members who, despite their initial misgivings, were all able to participate fully. And one of the great things about being able to offer performer fees, thanks to the generosity of this grant, is that people were able to invest and commit in a way that they might not have been able to before if they didn't know they were going to be paid for the performance, which has happened in the past with this show. It's very... It's like, let's put on a show, and everyone does it out of the kindness of their hearts, but it was really exciting to be able to pay people adequately for their commitment. As I mentioned, we had around 75 audience members, as you can see some of them here. And we had live music, including an upright piano, which the funding helped pay for. We also had guitar, drums, a bass, and a saxophone. Yes, so what I would consider the main success of receiving this grant is that it allowed myself and my husband to plan and execute a performance in a public setting that took place outside of our known spheres. So in the past, when I've done this show since moving here to Champaign-Urbana, it's happened in a dance department space. I'm a faculty member at the University of Illinois Dance Department, and it's always been in a space that we had a connection to in some way. And also the grant funding, as I mentioned, gave us the freedom to delegate and pay for tasks and show elements that otherwise would have been done poorly, since we two creators would be completing tasks that are not in our purview, like media design, for example, or would have typically been done by our generous friends, like documenting the show with photo and video. As I mentioned, because of this grant, the participants knew that they would be paid for their commitment and performance, which gave them the ability to commit fully to the project, knowing that their time and talent would be financially compensated. The community and audience were able to witness a performance that took place in an unusual, incongruous setting, the High Court of the Lincoln Square Mall. I had never seen a dance performance there, although I think some have happened, and perhaps see that venue in a new light. I think the community and the audience also really seemed to enjoy the show and the cast members' performances. In terms of Urbana's arts and cultural scene, this grant also allowed an otherwise business-oriented space to function as a performance venue, which I believe shed new light on the mall's capabilities as an arts venue, and also offered passersby and other happenstance audience members, which we definitely had, to experience art in an unexpected place. It was important to the creators of the show that the Midwesternness of an anti-mall community space be centered in this performance, and much of the show's content, which included Midwestern country, I'm going to air quote that, music. One scene was a square dance speed dating event, if you can picture that, referred to that history, and that wouldn't have been possible without the time and planning that this grant afforded us. Let's talk impact to the grant funds. I've kind of already covered this, so I'm going to go on. Collaborating partners. So our main collaborating partner, our only collaborating partner, was Lincoln Square Mall via Webster Appraisals, and I really can't say enough good things about this partnership. They very generously agreed to donate the venue itself for the performance and allowed me to have a month leading up to the performance to rehearse in the space twice a week, which was really invaluable for creating what I really wanted to create, a site-specific piece that felt like it belonged and was created in the space, not something that I created in, say, a dance studio and then kind of transplanted to the High Court in the mall. The custodial workers at the mall were incredible. Hannah Smith of Webster Appraisals was incredible. I mean, they helped us get a piano delivered and moved into a space so that we could have it for tech as well as for the performance. They helped set, I mean, it was really incredible working with the Lincoln Square Mall. I'm so glad that we did this. Challenges. Definitely could have used more rehearsal time, which I guess is probably always the case, right? Looking back on a show, but despite having rehearsal both within the dance department spaces at the University of Illinois, as well as I mentioned, the on-site rehearsal space at the Lincoln Square Mall, I still could have used so much more time there. I also should have factored childcare into our budget, because I somehow thought that having our 1-year-old with us at these rehearsals in the mall would be okay. And I wish I'd brought video of this, but so many of our rehearsals, it was putting the baby down in the middle of the high court and just letting her crawl around until she got somewhere vaguely dangerous, and then like scooping her back up while trying to create choreography and rehearse a scene. Definitely should have put that in my budget. The final challenge is that it was really important to me initially to invite and hopefully get some of the Edge of Mall residents to attend this performance. It's directly across from the south entrance. But what I didn't realize until I approached the Edge of Mall is that they have really strict parameters around publicizing performances and then inviting residents of their space to attend. So definitely, if I pursue something like that next time, I would definitely need to devote a lot more time and research into how that would play out. And then this is just kind of a summary of the fiscal report, which I don't know how important that is in this presentation, but we again, as I mentioned, we paid for performer and creator fees, the piano rental and delivery, costumes, media. This is our poster design here for Love Sucks, poster printing, photo and video documentation. Yeah, and this slide did say thank you, but all you can see is thank, so. Yeah, that's all.
Make any comments?
I love that you admit that you wrote this during a breakup and now you're, I'm assuming, happily married with a child. So
Happily
shows
married
there
with
is
a
a
child.
future for
Right,
love.
yeah. My husband, so the first time I created Love Sucks in 2016 out of a breakup, hadn't met my husband yet, but he's been with me. I met him the following year and then immediately he's an actor, and I co-opted him and I said, hey, I create a show about how much love sucks. I need you to be in it. And he's been folded into it ever since. And yes, I am happily married with a child. Yeah.
I noticed you had some faculty member, or at least a faculty member in
I
her
did. I
spouse.
actually, if you can
I-
see the
I saw
entire
them in the-
cast here. Do you
yeah.
know some of them?
Oh, Becky.
Yeah.
And Steve.
Yeah.
You get a
Sarah.
good grade.
Yeah, Sarah Hook, who's in the red here. She is our head of the dance department.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure how I got all of these people to agree. It's a very vulnerable experience, I think, for people who are not used to doing something like acting or singing or playing an instrument to join this show. But this particular cast was comprised of entirely faculty members and grad students in the dance and music department this year. Yeah. Really great.
Well, I so wish I could have gone. This sounds like a really fun event, and I love that you had it in Lincoln Square Mall. I'm sure it gave. There's always room there, so it's nice knowing that there's performances happening.
It was really special. I wish that I'd been able to. I wish I'd had the bandwidth to let it run for more than one night. But yeah.
Well, it's nice to see that it's happening again, because Lincoln Square used to be a vital performance space for many years.
Which I can totally believe. It's just now, I mean, I moved here in the fall of 2018, so I've only been here for 5 years, but it feels really difficult to pinpoint what the vibe of the mall is these days. You know, I call it an anti-mall, but there's constantly vendors changing in the space, and I actually took a lot of inspiration in the choreography for this show from the mall walkers who exercise in the mall, and that became I don't know, it's just a really unique space that appealed to me, and I couldn't explain it. You know, when I first pitched this idea to Danny, my co-creator and husband, he kept asking, why? Why do you want to do it there? And I couldn't even explain it. I just kept saying, look, the mall is calling to me, and we need to do it there. So we did.
It's nice to have some life come back to it again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I can't say enough good things about working with the mall.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next item on the grant presentations is BIPOC for Better Birth with Isis Rose and Michelle Burton. Welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Well, welcome.
I'm Isis Rose,
And I'm
And-
Michelle Burton.
and we're just going to go back and forth because there's two of us. Thank you so much to you all for having us, and of course to the Urbana Arts and Culture program. The Urbana Arts Grant was awesome, and we were able to get a lot accomplished between May 2022 and February 2023. And we are 2/3 of the organization BIPOC for Better Birth, which stands for Black, Indigenous, People of Color for Better Birth. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking about who we are and what we do. So as I said before, my name is Isis, and I'll give a brief introduction about who I am, and then I'll let Michelle do the same. So I'm the executive director of BIPOC for Better Birth and one of the co-founders. I'm also a local doula. I'm a student midwife. I am a mom, and I'm very passionate about maternal health and advocating for better pregnancy and birth experiences for all people, in particular people of color who face racialized disparities in maternal health. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. So it's going to sound like I'm repeating everything that she said, but I promise you I'm not. So I, too, I am one of the co-founders of BIPOC for Better Birth. I'm also the program director. I'm also a doula. I serve all the counties, basically, here in central Illinois.
In Chicago, too.
And Chicago and St. Louis, and we're going to stop there. I am also a lactation professional and student midwife. So I have an intense love for birth, all things birth, and I'm also an artist. So being able to combine the two, the beauty in birth and also art, it was just it was a treat. So some of the things that we did with this grant, we did painting. Some of the artistic media styles that we utilized were painting, photography, storytelling, and belly casting. And so we had a total of 4 events throughout May 22 to February 2023. And so, the purpose behind it was to just address relevant issues among childbearing people and co-create safe spaces to make art and to tell our stories.
So the first event we had was in May 2022. May is Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month, and so that's why we chose the theme Paint and Plant, Maternal Mental Health. And so we invited our participants to paint some, what do you call those? Terracotta planters, right? And as we were painting, we discussed what does it mean to take care of your mental health? What are the risk factors associated with having a baby, being pregnant? How does that change your body, your physiology? How does that make you at risk for perinatal mood and anxiety disorders during the pregnancy time period, but also postpartum as well? And so I believe this was Michelle's idea, the paint and plant. And we just, I can let you explain the rationale if you like, but these are our participants. And we had a few children present as well as some folks in the community. A couple of them actually were pregnant at the time, so this felt very relevant to them as they navigated pregnancy.
Yeah. And so the rationale behind this event was, our minds and the things that we go through in life, we're forever evolving, forever changing. And once when you become a parent, it's like you get hit with a ton of bricks. So you don't always know how to navigate the newness. And, I wanted to provide them with the planters to actually paint because paint is therapeutic. And also, with being able to plant something and take it home for it to grow, it's also a representation of how their lives as a parent, their lives as an individual. And so I just wanted them to not only provide them with, a workshop that was therapeutic with the art aspect, but also for them to be able to take something home as a reminder of who they are and where they're going, and the representation of them growing into something beautiful.
A metaphor for self-care.
Yes.
Okay. So the next event was August 2022. August is National Breastfeeding Month. And so every August 25th through the 31st is Black Breastfeeding Week. And so this was actually our most successful of the 4 events. And by success, I mean the most well-attended. I think we had about 45 people show up between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. And so our Breastfeeding Week celebration and photo shoot event is actually a 2-part event. Part 1 is we do a studio photo shoot in which we gather models who will latch their babies and breastfeed as a part of our Representation Matters kind of promotional material. This is also, this image in the bottom here, bottom middle, is by Creative Vision Photography, Yvette Campbell. And we used this image and several others to promote our event in the park, which we also had a photographer present. So photography was the primary arts medium here. And so this picture on the far right and the picture on the top was taken by Shelby Springer. She's also a local doula and birth photographer. And so we really wanted to normalize lactation and breastfeeding in the Black community. So very fun event. In a moment, I will talk about the challenges of our grant cycle, but for now, we'll just go through the other 2 events.
Yeah, this event was our Painting, Loss, and Remembrance workshop. This was geared towards pregnancy and infant loss. October specifically is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, and so we just wanted to create a workshop for families that, you know, are either dealing with loss or have dealt with loss, and we wanted to love on them. So throughout this event, we provided them with a guided, painting. And as you can see in the picture, we painted some pumpkins. But again, this was a piece that they were able to create with their own hands. They provide, use the colors that they wanted to pick for the background, things that spoke to them. And overall, the painting and the image that they were able to take home was something that was to remind them of the baby or infant or, the child that they lost. So it was very special to be able to provide this space. And I also want to add that we did have a participant of Asian descent, and she did share with us that she wasn't sure if she should come because she didn't know if she fit in the BIPOC narrative. So the fact that we were able to affirm her and let her know that you are absolutely BIPOC and you should be in this space, that was actually a great moment.
So, excuse me. So one of the things that was challenging is that some of our events were not very well attended, and I think that is a part of, our growth as an organization. BIPOC for Better Birth, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization as of September 2022, and so we're still very new, and we also kind of struggled with the marketing aspect because, getting the word out kind of costs money. We did have some great partners or sponsors with the Urbana Park District in particular. We reserved this space at Phillips Recreation Center, and I believe at least 2 of our events were included in the program guide. So we were very strategic about how to use the money that was available to help with marketing. However, having a well-attended event was a struggle. So between the 4 of them, I believe we served 55 people. So I'm very proud of that.
Yes. And our very last workshop that we did was in February, and it was all geared towards loving on your baby in utero. And so what you see here is our Bonding with Baby and a belly casting workshop. We kind of, talked about 3 topics before we got to the belly cast. And the very first thing that we did was we discussed belly mapping. That is something that ISIS taught the moms on. And then we moved into how to interact with baby while in utero. We encouraged moms to sing to baby, to read to baby, even, placed little lights on their belly and, just spend that special time with baby while they're in utero before they even get here. So the bond can, so you can start establishing that bond. And then, of course, as you see in the photographs, we did belly casting. So it was a beautiful event.
It was. They were all super special. And the fact that we had at least one person at this last event was amazing. But yeah, that's pretty much our presentation. I covered the challenges. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I think I'll just add, while it was challenges with us getting participants to be a part of our workshops, the fact that we were able to put on these different workshops that covered just different topics relating to birth was not only special, but it was needed because, I don't even think that we see a lot of workshops geared towards families when it comes to maternal mental health or Black breastfeeding or, belly mapping or anything like that. So
Right.
the fact that we were able to do this, I'm really appreciative of the grant funds that we were allotted.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
I think we did make a great impact on the arts and culture scene of Urbana. And I believe that, since the pandemic, it's been kind of slow to warm with parents and having family activities in public. And so we have just been wanting to engage more families, more people, and especially families of color, because I feel as a Black mother that there aren't a lot of safe spaces for us. And on that note, I'm shamelessly plugging our upcoming event because you all are here and you're a captive audience. I have flyers if anybody's interested. We are doing our 3rd annual Black Breastfeeding Week celebration and photo shoot on August 26th, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so I have flyers here. We actually have a ton of promotional sponsors this year, unlike last year. So we're expecting a bigger turnout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please come out. There will be resources. There will be food and just entertainment. So,
And we'll be there.
yeah.
Thank you.
Feel free to pass them around to the committee before you leave. If you'd like, ladies, feel free to pass them around to the committee before you leave. And we can also help spread them around for you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. I can hit this.
Thank you so much. Next, we have the UCIMC Unmute Sound Engineering Training Initiative with Miriam Larson and
Thank you so much.
I was about to say DJ BJ Clark.
I don't know. It's fine. That's great. All right, good afternoon. My name is Miriam Larson. I'm the Executive Director of the Urbana-Champaign Independent Media Center, and I'm here.
Hey y'all, I'm DJ BJ Clark, Station Manager of 104.5 and the Venue Coordinator at the Independent Media Center.
Welcome. We're
All
glad
right.
to see you.
Thank you.
We're happy to be here.
So we're here to talk about Unmute, a sound engineering training series for women, trans, and non-binary, and POC sound engineers. We had a great time doing this project. So let's see. Our goal was to address the gap in representation among sound engineers for women, non-binary and trans, and BIPOC folks in Urbana by doing a class series. You know, sound engineering is sort of a behind-the-scenes activity, but it makes music sound way better. If you have bad sound, it's probably not the musician's fault. It might be the sound person's fault. Although I'm not trying to like throw shade on sound engineers. Just lift them up, because when music sounds really good, it's not just the musicians, it's also sound engineers. And so we did that by doing 6 classes. We had about 12 participants. We knew we were going to have a little bit of a slump in attendance as the courses went on. I think we actually we had 17 people come over the course of the 6 classes that we did on Saturdays. We started in January through March, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
And one of the ways we used the funding was to provide practicum experiences for those who were interested. So that was really valuable. I was remembering as I was coming over here that one of our 17-year-old participants was so excited when he got his check, because it was the very first money he'd earned. It was his first job.
Yeah, it's kind of sweet.
That's super
Kinda
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah, and so then we worked with teachers and mentors, and one of the, I think, most impactful and lasting things that came out of this for us was that BJ and I got to really work on creating this curriculum. Do you want to say a little bit about teaching the class?
I do. The one thing, what I loved about this class that we were able to have at the IMC was a lot of things you can read about it, you can watch videos.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I loved about this was it was hands-on, you know, giving people an opportunity to know what an XLR cable looks like, what it feels like, where it plugs into, as well as, you know, like my mission or whatever in life is how can I add value to people? And this is one of the gifts that I was blessed by our Creator, by God, is to be able to teach people about sound, you know. And 20 years as a radio DJ and a sound engineer, I was happy to be able to do something like this for our community. And that's really what this is about, is adding value to our community, you know.
And this was the first time you taught this class.
Yeah, this is the first time I was able to teach this class, and I had a blast.
Yeah,
It was fun.
And then you mentored a couple people during live concerts.
That's right.
We
That's
had
right.
a radio DJ, Janelle Hendricks.
Yep, Janelle Hendricks was there.
Who also was one of our mentors, and then Karen Blackall, who we connected with, who's been an excellent new connection as well for us at the IMC.
Yeah. And some of our students are actually using what we taught them in the real world now.
Yeah.
So that's what is exciting
I'll
to
share
hear.
that testimony in
I'm
a
sorry,
second.
go ahead.
No
go
worries,
ahead.
no worries.
You go
Well,
ahead.
I wanted to say, you know, as we worked with the class and sort of learned about the skills in the class, we had budgeted for some concerts where these practicums would happen. We ended up adding more concerts than we thought we would do, and also kind of seeing a need for some funding for concerts. So I'll talk about those lessons in a second. But we ended up doing a class concert in addition, which we hadn't really anticipated, but people were like, let's, you know, I play the ukulele and I play the flute, and let's do a concert of folks in class. So that was a fun addition, and we also used that as a mentoring opportunity.
Right.
And then, like BJ said, we had one of our class participants recently report that she has a gig, and she's going to be helping plan for a friend's band and set up the sound for that. So it's exciting to see those people continue to grow their skills. And I guess, you know, as we think about this next round, we're pleased to have another grant. We made some pivots based on what we learned. So one thing was that a 6-session class is hard for people to commit to. We're going to just do 3 sessions this time. I also think, you know, our strongest curriculum was right in the beginning, and then we just really saw people needed to play with it, try it.
Yeah, just dive in and work with a live band, or work with, you know, a speaker or something like that.
And work one-on-one with the mentors.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're going to do that this coming fall. We'll schedule those. I guess that was Like there was something else I was thinking about in terms of pivots. Well, I guess just in terms of the concert preparation too, like not asking musicians to do that work for free, but being able to compensate them and sort of help lift up underrepresented performers, and also just make more paid gigs for musicians in our town. So we're excited to sort of emphasize that a little bit more. But we were pleased to have Afro D, a tango group,
That's right.
and
Haki and them.
Haki and them.
That's right.
We're our musicians for this round. And we also worked with the Rose Bowl, and I think we're building that relationship. It didn't end up working out for us to do a practicum there this time round. Sort of they have like so many gigs, it was hard to figure out where to put people in. But I do think one of our class participants is volunteering over there, just kind of learning on the fly with them, and we're excited about that. So learned a lot of lessons, excited to do it again, and thank you for your support, and thanks to all our participants and students for being willing to learn something that technically is kind of intimidating, but at the end of the day, really important.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yeah.
Any questions?
You guys got any questions?
I appreciate and having this with Urbana having so much live music entertainment, and this adds some more skill to that element. So thank you
For
for
sure.
coming up with something so unique.
Yeah, thanks so
Cool.
much. Good to see you,
Thanks.
Stephanie. Thanks.
And you shared your gifts with so many people by doing this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we did.
As a performing musician, I know how important the sound crew is, because they can make or break you.
Okay. All right.
Yep. And it's useful for, I think, we were surprised by how many musicians participated in the class, because this is my experience as a musician also. Like, that's how I learned about sound, and some bad experiences it also taught me kind of what can go wrong. So almost everyone in our class had some experience as a musician themselves.
Yeah.
It's a lot of collective experience to share.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what really made it very comfortable, was being able to let everybody share their experiences, or share their worries or their concerns,
Yeah.
And that was one thing we really wanted to focus on, was making everybody feel comfortable,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super. All right. Thanks so much.
All
Al.
right.
And finally, we have Robin Kierton and Tom Foe from C4A. Or no, Tom, just in attendance. Tom is in attendance. Robin is presenting today.
I hate that. Yeah. So, I'm Robin Kierton with the Community Center for the Arts. I think I've seen everybody before. We had our second annual Fiddle and Jam weekend, the first weekend in June. And the event it really aligns with our mission of building community, because the heart of the jamming culture is community building. And it's one of the things that we hope to do is, and I think we're on our way, is to kind of get this tradition stronger of people coming together to play. There is an active fiddling community here in CU, but we're trying to help other people know that they can participate in that as well, and not people of all ages. And I think we did a good job with that. Most of our grant funding was applied toward paying performers and clinicians. We had a series of led community jams and a bunch of different workshops, all like centering around fiddling music, which is, sometimes people want to know what that is. because they have. I think of fiddling music as something that's played on typically played on a violin, and its roots are in dance music. So, like if you think square dance music, that's fiddling. If you think Irish jigs, that's fiddling. But it's usually rooted in dance music, and at least that's the best starting point. The thing, we had the jams, we had workshops for very beginning fiddlers. We had one that you could participate in if you never held a violin before. And we had some that were more advanced for people who maybe wanted to learn how to improvise over fiddle tunes. We had some banjo workshops. We had one of our clinicians, we have a couple who come down from Evanston, and it's a violin and piano duet spouses, and they've played together for 30 years, and they sound awesome. But she's a really good keyboard player, and while the keyboard is a well-known dance, fiddle accompaniment instrument in like New England and Canada, around here they don't think of it that much. Usually it's a guitar, and so it was really a great thing for our pianists in the area to be able to work with her and have her show them some tricks on how to accompany fiddle players. We had a free concert at the Rose Bowl outside in that tent, which was great. I would say that this kind of brings up one of the challenges that we had, which was still like the challenge everybody has, is the residual fear over COVID infection. And so having access to this outdoor space was really, really helpful for the comfort and ease of people when we had larger gatherings. The Rose Bowl was one of our collaborating partners. We also collaborated with the Urbana Dance Company. One of their teachers came and did a contemporary dancing to fiddle music workshop. You'll see a little clip of that later. The Urbana Country Dancers, which is like a long-established contra dancing group, collaborated with us for a family dance. And that went well enough that they've invited my kids' group to dance with them or to play again with them in August, like we used to do in the good old days before COVID. And we had some, the Channing Murray Foundation, we used their space for the dancing and our fiddle anti-contest, which I want to just explain a little bit. Fiddle contests are, you know what that is. You go and you compete, and if you won first place, you get money. But that's not exactly the sort of reward that I hope for my students, at least. I want them to just have a really awesome time learning a tune and working on it and showing it off, and not like getting into cutthroat competition with each other when they're 6, So we started this anti-contest, and it's the idea is that it's kind of like try your personal best, and that's what we always want for our students, that they can grow and reach for their best potential, and it's in a really supportive environment. The judges for our contest, though, I have to tell you that between the judges and one of our clinicians, so 3 clinicians, we had a 5-time State of Illinois Fiddle Champ, a 2-time State of Illinois Fiddle Champ, and the reigning State of Illinois Fiddle Champ on our faculty for this event. And so we're swimming in pretty rich waters here. I just wanted
that
to.
You were one of them.
I beg pardon?
You were one of them.
Well, I did win
been.
the state fair a while back, but this is like the state sanctioned, like the one that if you want to go to the national competition, you have to win first place on that one.
You're a good mentor because of your experience.
Thank you, Barbara. You're awesome.
We are longtime colleagues.
Yeah, so most of the funding that we received from the Arts and Culture Grant went to pay clinicians and performers, and space rental, sound engineering. As we heard just a moment ago, having good sound is really essential. And we did have some out-of-town clinicians, so some of the funding helped with their lodging expenses and supplies, because you can't really have great music without food, I think. So we had to have good snacks and refreshments around for everyone. I think that wound up. I have like a video clip because it's going to be better than if I just keep rattling off stuff. So I'm going to show this to you. Apologies in advance because our sound on some of these things was from kind of bad phone cameras from far away in a weird sound. So it's not always, it doesn't always sound as good on there as it did in person. But I think you'll get the gist of it. And altogether, I think we had probably about 340 people served by this event. So I'm just going to pull this up now and show it to you guys. Are we set? I think. There we go. We can't play it. No. We don't want to just hear the audio. Why can't it? It's a .mov.
Marima, come out and help us maybe?
Okay. I do have my computer here that'll play it if there's a way to plug into that. .mov. Let's say that, but that's what I believe it is. There, yeah, that's it. It is.
Right-click on
Yeah,
it,
it
then you'll
says
get a
it's in the
menu that falls down and says open with. What choices do we get?
There we go. Uh-oh, still doesn't like it? It's okay. Yeah,
After download it, and then we can play.
thank you. I forgot to mention that our focus this time was dance, so it's a good thing that I wrote it down. We collaborated with 2 different dance entities and towns. Is there a way to turn it up?
Bottom right corner,
I don't see volume.
high enough on the page.
Oh, there. I was looking on the keyboard. I'm not a techie either. Help!
Pressing the sound icon itself, it probably will.
There we go. This was Jackie Biden from the Urbana Dance Company. She was great to work with. She just said, yeah, we'll figure it out. She's 5. She's not. Huh? That's Jessie Stark.
Oh, okay. Oh.
These guys were great. They came and we had a bunch of kids and families who had never danced before, and they came and helped and made everybody feel comfortable. And the kids got to gig with the grown-ups.
You circle around, neighbors come side up. And swing.
So that's all.
Oh, congratulations.
I just do want to thank the committee and the Urbana Arts and Culture program, because it really, as I heard some of the other presenters say, being able to compensate the artists really, I mean, some of them would do it for free, but I don't want to ask them to do that. And they really, you know, they're professionals, and it's great to be able to pay them and to, you know, like get their, you know, total buy-in that way. Anyway, so thank you very much.
That concludes our presentations for this afternoon. So now we're on to the staff report.
I didn't know how.
Oh, okay.
I just didn't want to yank it out and mess everything up.
Okay, that should be good.
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Hello. How are you guys doing today? Good?
Those were some formidable presentations and topics.
Yeah, I really like
Program is
them.
expanding.
Well, I have a pretty short report for today. There's not too much on there, but I did just want to touch on the fact that a lot of people are finishing up their grants because summertime, and I got the chance to go to one of the events that was for 2023, and that was the Common Ground culinary cooking event, and that was amazing. I'm looking at Sarah because she was one of the lovely assistant camera people, also sous chef at the event. But that was an amazing opportunity. So I have just a quick update, 40 North partnership update. Basically, the Crystal Lake Art Fair happened, and despite lots and lots of rain, it still went really well. People came and saw the artists. And yes, I think that the new location worked out in some ways, but of course, rain's going to do what rain's going to do. For programming, Poet Laureate update, Sarah, would you like to give us an update?
Sure. So we had a great time at the painting and poetry and paint night at Analog. It was really nice having it at Analog Wine Bar. So special shout out to Matt Cho for letting us be there. And Janelle did such a great job coordinating all of the different poets, include Mark Anthony, and I think 5 or 6 other performers.
We had about 8 total at the end, 7 or 8.
Yeah, 7 or 8. They were great. All of them different, but really powerful, moving. And, you know, we were worried about having enough seats, but every single person had a spot that also was able to have room for watercoloring. So thanks again for all those kits. I think that was, it worked out really well. And then I guess some updates. The day after that painting and poetry night, Janelle was also helped host a women's retreat with Representative Carol Ammons, and read poetry and presented. to the attendees there. And I think the only, so next Wednesday, she's participating in the Salsa Night with Solo Grazia Farm. And Rick's Bakery is also going to be there with tamales, but it's happening at Riggs Beer Company next Wednesday from 7 to 9. So that should be a lot of fun. I think she's teaching salsa dancing, probably reading some poetry, and using local produce for a salsa and tamales. It's going to be a fusion of things. Yeah, and then we're going to be working out when we're going to do our all ages painting and poetry night. But Mark Anthony and I were just talking about how fun it would be to have it be more regular, because it was a good time. It was a really good time. So
I think I have to add to that like not only were the poets all stellar, and as you said, like each had their own individual voice, and it was fantastic, but the audience was great too. And they were really responsive, and you could tell that they were just thirsting for more of that. Like they didn't want it to end.
yeah, I think Vivian, you gave us like 150 pages. They were all gone by the end. Everybody was just painting up a storm. People were painting portraits of Janelle. There was a lot of abstract art that was being painted, but everyone got their own watercolor kit and paper, and then we're going to be able to reuse those watercolors. So, yeah, it was a really good time. All feelings. Yeah, so thanks.
Very good to hear that. The pictures looked awesome. Like it looked like a packed house, so that's really great. Next, I really have just some upcoming events for August that I wanted to share with you all. These are things that are happening in Urbana. So Ride the Cyclone, the musical, is showing at the Station Theater Thursday, August 10th through August 13th. I believe that the Thursday, Friday, Saturday showings are 7:30, and then the Sunday showings are at 3 p.m. Twin City Theater Company is showing their production of My Little Titus Andronicus at the University Laboratory High School, the North Attic Theater, Friday, August 11th at 7 p.m. through Sunday, August 13th at 2 p.m. So those are both some theatrical performances to look forward to. And Grand Art Center for the Performing Arts is having their costume and prop sale on Saturday, August 26th, so definitely mark your calendar if you want to get some props or get a head start on Halloween, perhaps. And I believe that the tickets for early bird admission from 8 a.m. to noon it's $3, and then it's free afternoon. So that would be a fun thing to go check out, even just to look through props and costumes. I think it'll be a good time. And this is the next one that I have on this report is the Craft Happy Hour, and this is actually programming that Urbana Arts and Culture is doing with the Urbana Free Library, and it is an adult program that will be held on the first Wednesday of every month from 6 to 7 p.m. And basically, it's a opportunity for folks to swing by and learn a new craft or type of art. So our first month is going to be beading, and people are gonna be able to come in and make a bracelet, learn how to do some beading, have some light refreshments at the library, and then they can head home. So really it's meant for dropping in, having a good time, making something, being creative, and taking that home with you. So it's something that I'm really excited to work on with the library, and it'll be every single month. Yeah.
We have a graphic?
And that is the little
Have a graphic
flyer.
that can go on the
It's kind of in the works,
screen?
so that was
No.
just that was something to hand out.
to the camera, wherever it is.
But that's really all that I have. Of course, there's tons of live music happening at Rose Bowl, and they've been really great about sharing things on their event calendar on Facebook and I believe on their website. But that is what I have for you all tonight. Barbara?
I have one, may I?
Oh, absolutely. If you have more, share.
this is not to toot my own horn, but I happen to be involved with it. The PACE Incorporated Center for Independent Living, they provide services that assist people with disabilities in achieving and trying to maintain their own independence. They're having an event on the 19th at the Pennsylvania Avenue Baptist Church in Urbana. It's at the corner of Anderson Street and Pennsylvania Avenue. They're having a live auction and gathering at 6 o'clock, and I believe it's 6:30. There's a concert with a piano trio, which is why I'm involved. And it'll be an interesting experience because the lady that's playing the piano is blind. But she's an amazing pianist. She actually has a DMA in piano, and she memorizes everything. So they've asked us to perform some music for the guests at 7 o'clock, but it's a fundraiser for the PACE organization. So I wanted to take a moment to add that to your list.
And Vivian, are all these new events on your new calendar that you're using?
Yes. If you go to urbanaillinois.us, our website, and if you go under the calendar section, there's an event calendar, and that will have almost everything that's happening downtown or in Urbana. So a lot of these events can be found there with links and ticket links there. Also, if anyone wants to add something to the calendar, they can absolutely email me at vlkrishnan@urbanaillinois.us and send flyers or promotional material, and we can definitely look at what gets added to the calendar. That's all I have. Thank you all.
Well, I think I ran out of things to say. You don't have to officially. Well, no, I have to go back and teach. Thank you all for coming. It's good to see you all.